Yeah, 228.5, light rain, it's fine. So we're going to use runway 14. So ILS 14, and we'll do the Relax 1 Alpha arrival. Relax, insert. And that way we should be coming over Trasedingen. Then Relax Idumi. That's good. Alright. So we finished that part. Radnav. Now comes the interesting part. Yeah, so for the departure route, let me just get that in here. Alright, so for the departure route, it's raw data, so we have to make up our mind on which side we want to have what kind of DME. Now be aware of the fact that if you are tuning Hamburg on VOR2, then the HSI mode will only work on the Copilot side for the VR2. So here's VR1 with HSI mode and VR2 HSI mode. So it doesn't matter today because I'm not using HSI, I'm just using the horizontal situation indication. I just use the raw data indication. It doesn't matter today, but should you fly with HSI mode, then you would have to think about where to put which radial. Nevertheless, I'm going to put Hamburg on set number 1, and I'm going to put 115.8 Ulster on set 2. Unfortunately, Golf Tango isn't working here in my sim, so I can't tune that. Otherwise, I would have put Golf Tango. Let's say we're going to put this on NDB1. It shows it, but it just doesn't show the needle. Not sure why it does that. So for the initial turn, we're not going to worry too much. We'll just set the track to runway track after liftoff. And I'm going to use the track mode, not the heading mode, but the track mode, and so the autopilot will automatically adjust for the drift. So we're just going to fly 331 inbound to Golf Tango, just straight ahead, and then 5 DME from the Ulster will turn right 358, and then until 5 DME, then turn further right, intercept heading of a track of 358. Sorry, that's the first one, then to turn right and just intercept the 118 into Hamburg. So that's the plan. First level of altitude is 5,000 feet. And let me just get the latest weather here. Yes, it's the FSLabs A320, correct. Oh, hang on, I need to go into Atsu. Then we've got the weather request. So I'm not using the HSI exactly. I will be flying radials as they are depicted on the flight plan. I will do that, but I'm going to show you how to manipulate the needles, if you like, to get onto the right track. I was trying to explain that at the end of the last stream, but I guess it was just too much going on, and I probably didn't explain that very well. So today it'll be a lot more, a lot clearer once I do that during the navigation part. No, since I'm not using, okay, let me just check that. So DSG, he's asking, why do you not need to put in 118 course? Now, let me just demonstrate that. Okay, if I'm putting the course 118 into the FMS here, and then I switch to the ROSE VRR mode, and then I will get the so-called HSI, horizontal situation indication here. Now, that is what you would usually use. That way you can see the picture a lot clearer. So from here you would know this is the inbound course. So I'm going to turn a little bit left, maybe heading 080, depending on how far I'm away from the station. And then I know this radial will slowly come to the right and center. And then once it's centered, I can just adjust the track to 118. And that way I can easily navigate. Now, if I'm using the ILS mode, it's shown ILS because it has frequency tuned, but it'll disappear later on. Now, the thing with this is that here I'm just going to get this radial here, this VRR needle. And so I'm going to have to think about how on earth, I mean, this is just that general direction to the station. So I'm going to have to think, how on earth am I going to fly in order for that needle to go to a track of 118? Exactly, push the nose and pull the tail. So the heading will have to be left of the needle, and then the head of the needle will slowly go towards 118. If I was flying the other way, I would have to be on the left side of the tail, and that way pull the tail towards me in order to get the 118. It'll make more sense once I'm airborne and we're navigating. So I'm going to clear that away in order to get rid of the HSI setting. And you see, once you have no course inserted, then the HSI disappears. So the latest weather was as follows. Oh, it's quite windy today. 270, 18 gust 30, a little bit of crosswind. And rain, we can see that, 1005 on the QNH scale. 1005. Tempo 2000 meters, broken 400. Lemtrix I have flown in real life. In the early days of flying, I have flown raw data quite often. And for training purposes and recurrent purposes, you have to demonstrate that you can fly the Airbus without the map mode. So the instructor will fail the MCDUs or the flight management system, and that way you will have to fly just using the needles. I mean, that is expected of you. You have to, as a pilot, you have to be able to do that. The 0.2 miles, yes, that's correct. Let me just switch to the map mode real quickly, and then you'll see what it means. So here we're currently 0.2 miles left of the track. Well, if I'm looking this way, so it's right of the track. Yeah. Okay. But we'll ignore that. We'll just use the raw data indication. During the day, you need to taxi light during. Well, you won't see it on the ground, but it's like an indication for other people, or if the car's driving on the ground. It's just so that other people recognize you more easily. And here on the Airbus, you just you can either switch on the taxi light or the takeoff light. So it has 3 settings: off, taxi, takeoff light. And so we would, just out of normal procedure, we would always, for takeoff, use the takeoff light, and for taxi, we'll use the taxi light. That's just a normal procedure. Exactly, Bruno, yeah. Right, so let's get going. We have the MCU set up. For performance, I'm not going to use TopCat today. I'm just going to type in some values, 45. 1600 for the engine out acceleration. And we'll use NADP 1, so we're going to use NADP 2, sorry, so 1040 for the thrust reduction and acceleration. And then just the standard speeds here. Alright. That looks good. What radial am I presently at? If you just look at the raw data indication, Hamburg, that's this VOR. If it had 2 lines, it would be VOR 2. But Ulster is just a DME, so we're not getting a radial out of Ulster because we only have Hamburg as a VOR DME. And so currently the bearing, the bearing to Hamburg is 065. Yeah, stats don't work here. Yeah, Thank you, Bruno. Everything's Gucci in the cockpit. Yeah, thank you. It is. All right. So I don't need any of that. And APU is running. Just gonna turn on some lighting here so you guys can see. Just looking at the panel, fuel pumps are on. We're just gonna turn on the beacon now. That is all set. We've inserted the weather. Just gonna check the fuel. All balanced nicely. All the systems here looks good. Let's say we're getting our squawk 5522 and the clearance as briefed, AMLU 8 Golf climbing 5000. So we're ready for the before start checklist. So before start, cockpit preparations completed. Signs are on auto. Fuel quantity 5,520 kilograms. Altimeters 1005 at, how much is that? 70 feet. Both sides. And Windows doors closed. The beacon is on. Or before I forget, just make sure FSUIPC is actually set to 320, which it is. And thrust levers are idle. Parking brake is set. So let's have a look. All clear. Guess we have to remove the chocks if we can. External controls. Oh, they are actually. Okay, it's just GSX, I guess. Right. So we'll do engine start. And starting engine number 2. So start valve is open. We see N2 rotation. At about 25 or 24% N2 we'll get the fuel flow. Here we go, fuel flow shortly afterwards, ignition and EGT is rising. So now we wait until the start valve closes, which it just has. So now we can start engine number 2. Engine 2 is to engine 1. Engine 2 is now idle. Yannick, I'll come back to you or tweet me that. Yeah, unreliable flight instruments. Yeah, that's a hot topic. The different NADPs, there's only 2 major noise abatement departure procedures, NADP. And so the NADP 1 is a procedure where you would climb to 1500 feet height before you reduce the thrust to climb power and 3000 feet above the airfield until you start the speed acceleration. Whereas NADP 2 would be, like it's here, 1000 feet height for both thrust reduction and acceleration. Right, engines have started, and so we'll do the after start flow, switching off APU bleed, the APU itself. Then we'll come down here. Start is normal, setting the spoilers, setting flaps. And then, as always, important to do the flight control check. We have full left, full right, neutral, full down, full up, neutral, and the rudder full left, full right, neutral. So today we have 9 degrees Celsius, so it's below 10, and the apron is wet, and we have rain, so we have to switch on the engine anti-ice. So after start, checklist, anti-ice is on, ACAM status is checked. You don't have, if it doesn't say status here, you don't have to press the status button. If there's no message here, STS, then the status is clear. So status is checked. And the trim is about, let me just see, yeah, 0.3, there we go, 0.3 up and 0 after start, checklist completed. Squawk is interesting. Janis, welcome to the stream. Right, so let's check. Everything's clear now, clear left side, clear right side, and we're gonna switch on some lights here, turn off, and taxi light. We'll switch off the parking brake. Here we go. Fly Lufthansa, hey, welcome. The rudder trim always has to be 0 for takeoff. And then you yourself will, you know, counteract any yaw if should there be any arising, and then once you switch on the autopilot will then trim the aircraft itself. Right, brake check. It's quite a neat feature at the wet simulation here on the tarmac. Very nice. Do like that. So let me just get some items done here, selecting the auto brake max and doing our takeoff config test, which is normal. So I have to go left here. And one thing I will do now is I'm going to switch on the weather radar system. So Ekamimo, we have takeoff, no blue. And so below the line takeoff runway is 33. We're going to take off via Bravo 4, and the packs are on engines. Right, entering the runway, we have to switch on the strobe lights. And I'm also going to do the takeoff lights now. Looks good. Well, I guess that is a bit overdone here. It's not really snowing, is it? Okay, so guys, good question. What happens with the modes now once we set takeoff power? What modes will be indicating here? SAS, runway, and auto thrust blue, exactly. Yeah, Gomendio. Since we have a valid localizer signal, which you won't usually see, if you're in nav mode, you won't see the localizer signal, right? You won't even see that on the primary flight display. And so, looking here on the ILS setting, we can see we actually have a valid localizer signal. And so we will have runway indicating here. Right, so I'm going to start the chrono. Oh yeah, and just remember, guys, 3 miles from... Oh, let me just put this here, just so guys can see that a little bit better. So 3 miles ALF will then turn 358 until 5 miles ALF and then right, and will intercept the 118 radial inbound to Hamburg. And just as a heads up, after Hamburg we need to fly track 186 radial 186 towards liner. All right. No flight directors. I'll leave them on. But actually, no, you're right. We did say, Brennell, yeah, you're correct. We did say we want them switched off. All right, we'll do that. Just need to switch on some lights here. All right. All right. Yeah, Bruno, the flight directors are off. And yes, Nick, very well seen. TCAS, nice one. Nice catch, Nick. All right, so we have whatever. We have takeoff power set. That's all we can say. We don't have any modes indicating on the prime flight display. Oh, a little bit windy. Gusty winds, 30 knots wind from the left. 100 knots is checked. So rotate. Positive climb, gear up.
Pull up, terrain. Pull up, don't sink. Too low, terrain. Too low, gear. Too low, flat. Too low, terrain. Light slope.
Nordic, oh my god, 30 euro donation. Might actually be able to see whole stream today. That's great. Have fun, don't get lost. I'll try not to. Nordic, thank you so much, man. Right, I'm gonna have to concentrate. So let me just check, have I got the climb notch? Yes, I have. It's strange having not any indications on the prime flight display. So, inbound 3 miles we said. And so I will do open climb. Three miles, we'll turn right, 358 track, flaps going 0, 358 track. Alright, let's switch that to track. Alright, track indicated now. Until 5 miles, and then we're gonna have to intercept this radial here, 118. Now I'm gonna stay at 220 knots, that way it'll be easier for me to do the navigation part here. And I'm gonna climb up straight away to level 350. Right, 5 miles, turning right. And so 118 is the track we want to intercept, so we should have about 088 as a 30-degree intercept. So 5,000 feet, setting standard. A lot of things to do, guys. Gear and flaps are up. I'm gonna disarm the spoilers and switch off the lights here. So we're almost at radial 118, so we can actually turn further left. Probably gonna overshoot a little bit. So I'm gonna turn 118. 128, maybe 10 degrees. And we're almost pretty close to Hamburg as it is. Yeah. So now, in order to get the radial, the head, back to 118, we have to be right of the radial. So we're going to push the head of the needle towards 118. That is the name of the game. Peter, good evening. Welcome. So now we can accelerate. So I know that I'm left of the radial. I need to get further to the right. And so, as I said, the track is now right of the head. So now the head will slowly move towards 118. Now we are very close to the station, so the needle will move a lot quicker. So 118. So I'm going to adjust again the heading to 118. Now, in order to not overshoot the station by too many miles, I'll be turning to the next initial magnetic track of 186 now. So 186, And that way, now the game means after passing Hamburg station, we'll have to set the tail, because we're navigating outbound from the station. We have to set the tail to 186 degrees. Right, let me just switch off all the lights. Engine anti-ice is off and seatbelts auto. So now we're south of Hamburg and we're almost on the 186 radial. Not quite there yet. Right, so like I said, in order for the needle to move to the left, it's the tail of the needle, then I have to pull it. So I need my heading or track to be left of the needle. We're still close to the station, and so the needle will move a lot quicker if we're close to it. Yep, more cockpit lights coming up. And what I'll also do is I'm gonna increase the lighting a little bit so you guys can see better. Yeah, that's better, right? And what happened to the auto thrust? Good question, we'll try it out. Thrust climb. We did a raw data, no flight director takeoff. That's why. Catch nonetheless, fly Lufthansa. So pretty much on radial 186, and so we are on the correct radial towards Leine. Speaking of Leine, we're going to have to set that in the radios next, and so Delta Lima Echo on here, and already getting the signal, and voila, you can see that both needles pretty much line up, which means that we are pretty much exactly on the straight line from both VORs. And that's the way navigation would have been done 30, 35 years ago, before we had the flight management systems. Simple as that. And the thing is that this kind of navigation means that you have to use your head a lot more. You have to make a picture in your head and imagine, you know, where the position of the aircraft is. And of course, you would have a navigational chart. Let me just get one open here. Yeah, Airbus fan, I know it must be a bug, because I was expecting, once I set the flex power, I was expecting at least to get an indication for the auto thrust, but it didn't happen. I'm sure that it does come up in real life. Eagle Hoops, yeah, if you want, you can do the flight in a jet, yeah. The jet flight time is about 45 minutes. And if you like, you could do -8, whatever you like to fly. Feel free. So, still navigating right between the two VOR stations. So we're 63 miles from Leine up ahead, and we're 23 miles out of Hamburg presently. Coolcraft, hi. What was your question? Let me see. Good evening, how are you? Oh yeah, hang on. Are you talking about the FSLabs shared cockpit function. Is that what you're talking about? Yes, exactly. The track automatically adjusts for the wind, and we have quite a lot strong crosswind today, 50 knots. And so exactly, if I was using heading mode, I would have to, well, you still have a drift pointer, so you still would be able to adjust for the drift, but it will take some more calculation or some more monitoring of the instruments. That way, at the moment, I'm pretty, you know, relaxed. I have all the needles centered pretty much. Maybe I can go a little bit more to the left here. Well, let me just switch off the Hamburg. Sorry, yeah, the so line now 186. Pretty much on that. Looks good. Okay. Well, the thing is, Coolcraft. For some reason, I haven't been able to get the Aerosoft shared cockpit working on the 320. So, if the 330 uses the same kind of system, then I'm not too optimistic to getting that set up. Nikki Prado, how do you know whether left or right of a course without setting an inbound course? Now that is the trick, right? So it like I said, it takes some imagination. So this is the straight line to the station. Now, for example, if I want to intercept at radial 210 and I'm presently on 185, then I need to fly left of that actual radial. And that way I would be maneuvering left of the station, and slowly but surely the course would change, the inbound radial would then change to 210 or whatever. So, like I said, and a quick way to remember that, which way I need to turn to get the needle pointing into the right radial, is to say that if I see the head of the needle, then I need to push the head. So if I want the needle to go to the right, I'll be flying left of the needle. And if I want the needle to go to the left, I'll be flying right of the needle. The other way around, if I have the tail pointing up, then it's the other way around. If I want the tail to move to the right, I would have to be right of the tail, so pull the tail towards me. And the same for the left side. I know it sounds confusing, but it's just a very simple and easy way to help you with a picture in your mind. So now, for example, I can see that I'm going a little bit right of the station, right? So I want the needle, it's about 184, and I want the needle to move 2 degrees to the right. So I'll be left of the needle now. I'm going to turn left of the needle. And then we're still 30 miles away from the station. And then so very small correction now. And then slowly the needle will start drifting back towards 186. I know, yes, if the FSLabs shared cockpit would be implemented, that would be amazing. And if it actually worked, that would be even better. Black box can answer, that was the question. Okay. 12 hour stream, you will be discussing that the autopilot 1 is tied to the Captain Barrow and autopilot 2 to the FO Barrow, yeah. In case the Captain Barrow has an error, you would switch to autopilot 2. Yes, that would be the normal kind of procedure, yeah. So the FCOM says there's no auto thrust arming, okay. Hmm. Lucien. Oh, so now we have back on the radial 186, so I'm gonna adjust the track back to 186 again. I would fly with you if you promise not to ask all these questions about my career, then I would do so. So we're now 70 miles away from Hamburg, 16 from Leine, so I'm gonna look at the flight plan and make sure I get the next track correct. And so next station is Warburg. So we're gonna select Warburg into VR1 now. Takes a few seconds and then it should actually indicate. It does. And to Warburg it's course 211. So about 3 miles, 4 miles before the station, I will start the turn, and then first I'll be orientating according to the Leine VOR and get the tail pointing towards 211, and then align Warburg also 211, and that way I'm on the direct radial from Warburg to Leine. That's the plan, at least. Yeah, so at the moment 186 degrees, yeah. Untes baby, thank you so much for kind words. Yeah, we are small but humble community, and we have great people here, and I'm having lots of fun with these guys. Excellent discussions. Team flights are lots of fun as well. And here, well, you learn a little bit more about aviation. All the people who want to learn a little bit more, they can learn something here. Not just from me. There's some other excellent, or people with excellent knowledge here as well, so. It was fun, yeah. Yeah, cool craft. I mean, let's just wait. Let's just, oops, hang on. Oops, we already missed the station. Oh my god. Right turn, 211. Well, we're gonna have to turn like 220 now to re-intercept. I just hope, Coolcraft, that Aerosoft is not promising too much. So now, confusing indications, right? Split needles. So just make sure this is Warburg and this is Leine. And I'm going to concentrate on Leine, so just going to switch off Warburg for a second. So this is the tail. I'm right of the tail, so I'm pulling the tail towards the desired track of 211. Quite simple once you've understood the concept. And again, just for people joining, no map mode. We're just navigating via VOR stations and radials. We're simulating a complete failure of our map mode. The good old navigation days. And every pilot has to be able to do that. If you're not able to navigate according to these, then you shouldn't be sitting in the front in the cockpit. Yeah, Chris, no, I don't have that open. I'm not cheating, honestly. So 211 coming up, and so I'm gonna set the track to 211, and that way we should be on the right course towards Warburg. Later on, guys, it'll be interesting because we don't have an indication for the descent point, right? So we have to calculate our descent path manually as well. Looks about right, 211. So let's have a look at Warburg, see how that radio goes. Yeah, looks pretty neat. So we are directly between the two stations now. Simple mathematics. Okay, so let me just quickly demonstrate the HSI. Now the HSI, I would insert the course 211. And that way, here we go, you have a HSI setting. Alright, so this is like a little bit more modern. And so this way, you don't have to think about where do you need to turn in order for the radial to center. This is pretty easy to see. If I want the needle to be centered, I have to turn to the right and intercept it. So the HSI mode does actually help because you have a top-down view of the world. But like we said, we're not cheating, so this is the indications. Oh, the 340, 200, 300 engines, they look terrible. I think they're just too small. Oh, Bruno, where are you gonna fly that? Nobody. I'm just using simple heading or track, and so we're just navigating according to these VOR indications. So we're 24 miles inbound to Warburg. The next VOR is going to be Frankfurt. So I'm gonna ditch Leine and I'm gonna set Frankfurt next. Oops, Frankfurt. 14.2. Now let me just get an en route chart open here. Where was that? I think it's this one. Oh, Porto. And what is FQMA? Vulcaisto, good luck. Lissabon, very nice. Or Lisboa, I should say. Very nice town. So we can see that Frankfurt is a little bit left of our track. And so we will turn intercept a little bit left. The next track is going to be 190. So very close to Warburg, 16 miles. So let's just quickly enjoy a nice outside view here. Very nice. Maputo sounds interesting. Oh my god. Now, if you're navigating according NDBs, it's the same principle. You have a bearing and you manipulate the needles the same way as manipulating the VOR needles. So in this kind of indication, it doesn't really matter if you have an NDB needle or a VOR needle. Of course, if you're using the HSI mode, then an NDB doesn't help you much. Well, Airbus fan, you would usually say line of sight, so about 130, 140 miles. So at about 3 miles, 4 miles, I'm going to turn towards 190. Okay, I'm not going to try to pronounce that then. Oh, so nice and moist with that these temperatures. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to turn towards 190, intercepting outbound Warburg 190, and Frankfurt should also be inbound 190. So many more have joined. Regarding the last stream, I already said that. I'm sorry that on the last stream, some of you, the non-subscribers, couldn't watch the stream in full quality, so source quality. That was set automatically by Twitch, and I have removed that, however. So anybody, doesn't matter if you're a subscriber or not, you can change the quality of the stream to the source mode, which should hopefully get you really good quality. Oh really, Coolcraft? It didn't start the A cars. Okay. So let me just get rid of the Frankfurt VOR here. And so again, I need to get the tail to 190. So I'm left of the tail, sort of pulling the tail slowly towards 190. What's the yellow line right side of your display? Above -2 degrees. Yeah, this one here. It's interesting, right? Since it is an ILS indication, a raw data ILS indication, you don't see that very often. And so when you have a glide slope indication later on, you'll see the diamond. And this is just showing this, the center of the glide path. So you would center the diamond here. You're just not used to the indication. ARCA's modeled, it doesn't have full functionality. It has some nice features where you can, for example, get the weather data. But at the moment, you can get the ATIS when you're on VATSIM or on IVEO. Apart from that, oops, it doesn't do much at this point. Why is the chrono? I've stopped it after takeoff or after getting the decline power. Oh, you're flying with Lufthansa Virtual, okay. Right, so almost having the 190 radial out of Warburg, sorry, Frankfurt. And so, oh no, Warburg. So we're going inbound to Frankfurt and can see Frankfurt now again, both needles pretty much centered. And so we nailed the center of the airway again. So adjusting the track to 190. All right, 58 miles to go to Frankfurt. A virtual airline, yeah. Somebody was asking. Let me see. What was the question? Mora, someone asked, grid Mora is on a nav display? Well, on the charts, if you have the grid Mora, the minimum off-route altitude, that would be the lowest safe altitude to fly at, to make sure you clear all the obstacles. So 8.6 would be 8,600 feet, 5.5 would be 5,500 feet, and so on. Einast, welcome. Yeah, exactly. One engine out airlines. We are. So, shortest route was that Frankfurt, Düsseldorf or Frankfurt Nuremberg? Oh, sorry, landed. Oh, I'm gonna get bad conscience now. Munich, Stuttgart, yes, also, yeah, and Frankfurt, Stuttgart is also very, very short, yeah. Alright, 37 miles to go. And so I'm gonna get rid of Warburg, and the next VOR station is Luburg, Lima Bravo Uniform. Oops, that's the wrong one here. Lima Bravo Uniform. Nuremberg, Munich, oh my god. And you get full service, right? Meals and snacks and drinks. Right, no indication of Luburg yet. We'll see. I'm not even sure if it works in P3D. We'll see. If not, we'll take something else like Stuttgart or something. So when you're descending from a flight level in managed mode, are you on descent profile calculated by FMGS? Would the FMGS overshoot the speed? It has a speed range. You can see that by a top and bottom magenta line, and it will use the energy trading either by going over the optimum speed to catch the glide from above, or it will slow down.
Pull up.
Oh my
terrain.
god.
Pull up. Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear. Too low. Flap. Too low. Terrain. Glide slope.
Vlad, thank you so much, man. Vlad donated 50 euros. He says, thanks again, Blackbox, for taking the time to share your amazing knowledge with all of us. Your streams are the best, and the community you gathered around is wonderful. Please keep on. Thank you. I will keep on. I have so much fun. Keep repeating that. And like you say, we've gathered an amazing, nice community here. And so it's been worth all along, all the way. So thanks again, Vlad. Very generous. Gives me goosebumps. Thank you so much, man. Right, where am I? Oh, here we are. Okay, so Frankfurt. I'm not getting Luburg. It might still be too far away. So initially we have to get to track 156. We'll see how that goes. So Vlad and Nordic, man, don't know what to say. So gracious, so kind. Thank you. In real life, would you like you do now, or would you ATC give you vectors? Well, I mean, air traffic control would help out short term, if you like. But if they're busy, they would probably ask you, you know, you have some navigation instruments available, so why don't you navigate with your instruments? I mean, I would be embarrassed, to be honest. If I have these kind of indications remaining, I would be embarrassed as a professional pilot to ask, you know, the controllers for radar vectors all the way to the destination. If I was like flying to Frankfurt now, okay, you know, then maybe, or if I have an abnormal, for example, if an engine failure or something, then yes, of course, then I would get the help from air traffic control. But hey, everything is normal. I mean, you know, there's no need to ask air traffic control for any help at this point. And so, like I said, I would navigate on my own. All right, come up to Frankfurt and we'll turn 156 next.
Pull up, terrain. Pull up, don't sink. Too low, terrain. Too low,
Oh
gear.
my god.
Too low, flat. Too low, terrain. Light slope.
Oh god, people. Nordic, another 51 euros, man. Oh god, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much, Nordic. Oh my god. You guys are amazing. Oh wow. Thank you, Nordic. I hope you're still on the road or not missed your turns. Oh my god. Thank you so much, Nordic. Yeah, there's been so many amazing people. I've like four months ago, I would have never believed being at this stage here, having so much fun, you know, having such a lot of great people around me now here. So thank you all so much, man. Airbus fan, that's what I'm worried about. He said early on, he said he missed his turn off because he was watching my stream, so I'm kind of worried. So we're still not getting Luberg, so I'm worried that Luberg is actually not active. Let me get Stuttgart instead. It's probably it's pretty much the same direction, so Stuttgart. Oh, I know. Now I've just checked the chart. It's a DME only. It's not a VOR. It's a DME only. Okay, so let me just check if I can get Sulz already. Or it could be just P3D. That could be the case also. It doesn't matter. Oh, now, okay, we're actually getting Sulz. Okay, so we'll go to Sulz afterwards then. The routing. Do you mean, guys? Do you mean the routing that I'm flying now? How I managed to get that? Oh, you only have 70 kilometers to go. Oh, nice. And then off work, hopefully. Oh, and then 350 kilometers back. Oh my god. Oh, a long night ahead of you again. Oh man. Ibanez. All right. Now that's something I admire. I mean, racing you know, I don't drive motorbikes. I've always been afraid of motorbikes for some reason. So hats off. Driving any kind of machine to its limits takes a lot of skill. So pretty amazing stuff. So when you navigate with help of VOR instead of fixed points, do you follow then jetways? It's airways. These airways, if you look on a chart, on navigation chart, these airways are still being shown. So either it's been connected via fixed points, and you'll also have airways which are connected by good old-fashioned VORs. And so the routing today, I just looked at the general routing, general track, and then just chosen the VR stations accordingly. I didn't follow any strict routings. Why do I have an ILS indication? Well, I have to switch on ILS, and I'm doing that because I want to avoid. Well, if I'm not inputting any courses, then I can use that as well. Okay, we'll change to VOR mode, yeah, because like I said, this will give me the HSI mode if I'm inserting the course, which I'm not doing now, so that's fine. Yeah, so sorry for the confusion, guys. This would be an ILS indication according to the setup here. So it's already taken the ILS frequency from Zuerich, ILS 14. So inbound track is 135. So I'm going to get rid of that. Sorry for the confusion. Vinny the Great, your videos have actually made me appreciate Airbus more. Okay, before I used to despise Airbus for some reason. Airbus has some nice features. However, Airbus can be quite tough sometimes. If certain systems fail, then, like I said, like here, getting back to the normal old ways of flying aircraft, then you can get into a heap of trouble. So you have to maintain your professionalism and the practice, you know, these kind of things. When you study for your ATPL, which was the first subject you liked the least? Metrology I didn't like very much, and electronics wasn't my best subject, to be honest. I loved navigation. I loved the technical part. Those were my favorites. Right, so I'm gonna go down to Sulz now. Let's intercept the 200 Sulz, and then outbound Sulz it will be 190 to Traseding. Nordic. Oh my god. Alright, so
autopilot.
and
Autopilot.
And Marco, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it very, very much. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, have a good dinner, Bruno. Nordic. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, but do that to Bruno, please, not to me. Yeah, Azubika, so like I said, the magenta line that was already inbound radial in Zuerich, ILS 14. Speaking of Zuerich, let me just check how far away I'm from Zuerich, because we have to plan our descent at some point. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? 90 miles? Whoops. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for 0G maneuver. I'm very sorry. And we are... I don't even know how far away I am from Sulz. Doesn't have a DME. Yeah, right, no, Nick. Boeing pilots always say Boeing is better, Airbus pilot, the other way around. Okay, you think that Airbus pilots... Well, it's strange sometimes. Airbus pilots, they have some good jokes about Boeing as well, so... Yeah, I was afraid that if I use the VRR Rose mode and if I insert certain course, for example, if I was going to insert the course I want to fly as a reminder, say like 156, I would get an HSI indication, and that's a lot easier to navigate, and I didn't want to do that. So that way I switched to the ILS mode, and that way I wouldn't have the HSI mode. But yeah, it's all selected now, so no worries. Yeah, meteorology, it's so boring. It's just simple, you know, yeah, just simple, you know, learning by reading it 1,000 times. Or let's put it the other way around. I mean, learning what all the jet streams are called worldwide and all the winds are called worldwide and so on, that's just not my world. I'm sorry. It's just... Or at what season the, you know, Bora wind blows from when to when, that was just boring. Sorry. I hope my old meteorology teacher isn't watching. Yeah, master caution, exactly. Here we go. How many miles? 70. Oh my god, we're still too high. Alright, so I'm going to increase the speed a little bit, increase the drag, increase our rate of descent. Now 10,000 should be safe for now. Okay, now I get it, Dicho. You won't get into trouble. At the moment, say you cannot use the RNAV function anymore, you would tell air traffic control, and they would give you a different routing. They would probably give you a heading at first, and then they will give you reclearance according to VORs if you're able to fly via VORs. But yes, of course, if you cannot navigate via basic RNAV, then that's it. Then you have to deviate from your filed flight plan. Yeah. Yeah, let's look at the sky here. Hang on. Oh yeah, guys, before I forget. Oh, and Azabiko, I got your email.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
C150 gigs. Welcome to the stream. Before I forget, Azabiko, thank you so much for your idea with the emoticon. I'll put that on. And if anybody else has some ideas, we can use 4 emotes. 4 different emotes. So only have 1 at the moment with the master caution. If you have any ideas, please let me know. Beetle wins, yeah. Passat, Beetles, and Scirocco, yeah, exactly. Right, so Sulz should be coming up very soon, and after Sulz is to Trazedingen. I'm way behind again. Jesus. So Trazedingen is up next, and from Sulz to Trazedingen it will be 190, which is pretty much straight ahead. Now let me get my approach chart out from Zuerich. Otherwise I'm gonna make such a mess of the thing here. Ha! Here we go. Give me a shout if I forget to get rid of the chart. So here's Traseding. We're going to navigate to Traseding very soon. We're coming up to Sulz station because you can see how fast it's moving. So I'm going to set track 190 now. So we are going to Traseding. Out of Traseding, 235 for about 6 miles. Well, we take about 4.5 miles, and then we'll turn onto the ILS. ILS 14, 4,000 feet. So I'm going to maintain 5,000 until Traseding later on. Then we'll descend 4,000, intercept the ILS. 135 is the inbound course. We've already established that. And minimum is 1610. And the missed approach, straight ahead, 135, climbing 4,000 until 5 miles, India Kilo Lima, then left 210 knots, 360 degrees, intercept 232 radial to Zurich East, maintain 4,000 until 7.8 dmi inbound to Zurich East, so somewhere here. Then we climb to 7,000. And after Zurich East, we're going to fly to Amiki. Is that complicated enough or what? I mean, how on earth will you do that raw data? Okay, so we're past that. We'll descend down to 8,000 now. 35 miles. We should be good. So I'm going to stow the speed brakes again. Switch on the seatbelt signs. Get some landing lights on. Beacons. Do I need a beacon? No, I don't need a beacon. I'm going to have to set Kloten later on. And then Zurich East we'll have to set. Now we can get rid of Sulz. I'm going to set Kloten on set number 1. That way we can have a DME distance from the field. 45 miles. So we are okay now. We're not too high anymore. Gonna slow down the aircraft. So tracking nicely into Trasedingen, 30 miles to go.
Pull up, terrain. Pull up, don't sink. Too low, terrain. Too low, gear. Too low, flat. Too low, terrain. Glide slope.
All right. So we have a Nordic Nordic Walrus, and we have a Nordlicht. Nordlicht donated 10 euros. Danke für die tollen Videos. Man, that is so kind of you. Thank you so much for your support, man. Amazing. 10 euros again, this time from Nordlicht. Thank you, man. I'm really chuffed and humbled. This flight turned into NASA astronaut training. Yes, it has. Some dirty tricks here. You've no category 1, no ILS is working today. Ah, okay. So that's kind of a hint, right? And Brenold is correct. We'll do a VOR. Hang on, let me just check what kind of approach do we have into... Alright, we'll do a VOR into runway 16, Brenold. Is that okay? So that's kind of a different approach. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong button. Here we go. So we'll do this approach instead. So VOR approach into runway 16. And so it'll use Kloten as the VOR station. So I'll select the inbound course now, which is 155. That's a good idea, Brenold. 155. Yeah, ILS is too boring. You're absolutely correct. And this time we can use the HSI then. Always too high, yeah. I think one of the emotes has to be descend. With a face palm. Oh yeah, exactly, sorry, hang on. Here we go again. Alright, so chart. Like I said, Kloten and course 155 for the radial into Zurich. And it looks like a little, no, oh yes, it's offset by 2 degrees. So the inbound course, I'm gonna have to chase Traseding. It's turning left, oh no, it's not, hang on, not that far. Not that far, just a little correction. 190 you wanted to have into Traseding. So, yeah, offset, the runway is heading 153 and the inbound radial is 155. 3-degree profile and starts also at 4,000 feet. Oh, and von Traseding, it's pretty much straight into, so we're going to descend 5,000 straight onto the final. QNH, let me get the latest weather here. Weather request, LSZH. And, oops, that's the latest weather. So QNH 1023, which we're going to select now. We are already descending, 1023. Oops. And I'm gonna slow down already. So I'm getting rid of the ILS indication, only the VOR indication. Sorry if I can't read the chat at the moment. Yes, I did do sailplane flying to start off with, yeah. That were my first step when I was 14, yeah. Yeah, could have been, was it Basel or something? The runway that we just saw. So light rain. Let me get that into the approach page here, 1023. 7 degrees. Now we still have plus 10 degrees, we're still fine. And the wind is 2, no, it's variable 1 knot. Nice, variable 1 knot. And the minimum is 1950, 19050. And somebody was asking about how to read the approach chart here. Let me just see if I can quickly do that. Oh, it's such a beautiful scenery now. Right, just quickly. The minimum you would put in is... Just gonna activate the approach phase. Because we need to slow down. And descend 4,000 feet. Okay, so the chart says at the bottom here 1,950 feet, and that is an MDA. That's an altitude which means it's set to QNH, reference mean sea level, and that is what you put in here into the FMS. 1,950 feet. That's what's being put into the MDA. If you're flying a Category 2 or Category 3 approach, then only then would you put in a decision height. So here comes the radio. We're outbound of Trasedingen, 189, which is correct, and we're intercepting the radial, which is coming up here. So I'm going to select flaps 1. And descent point is at 9.2 dme. I love this. Love the colors here. Amazing. Very nice. So, oops, was not meant to do that. Looks.
Pull up, terrain. Pull up, don't sink. Too low, terrain. Too low, gear. Too low, flat. Too low, terrain. Light slope.
Oh my god, Nordic, another 20 euros. And what's that? Your MCDU just stopped working. Okay, it has. Oh man, thank you so much, Nordic. Oh my god. Uh-oh. Oof, only a lag. I just thought the game crashed. So inbound course is 155. Selecting flaps 2. Ah, and there's a runway. I'm going to put this here so I can't see the runway and the approach lights. So we're just going to navigate via this here. So
2,500.
let's check. And we do that with track FPA as always. 9.2 is the descent point. So I'm going to have to correct a little bit to the left here. 1 mile to the descent path. And we're going to select 3-degree glide path profile. And somebody asked, said the autopilot doesn't descend, and that is correct. You have to either set the minimum descent altitude 2000 or turn up a higher altitude into the window here. Otherwise, the autopilot will not descend. Right. So now we have track FPA and a 3-degree profile. Selecting gear down. Pedro, good evening. Welcome. Once again, Nordic, thank you so much. Oh my god. Johnny Wing, welcome. No, yeah, I was fan. I know. I contradict myself. Right, flaps coming 3. Outer brake, we're going to select low. So we're on the inbound radial. And we should be at 7.7, so 7 miles, 3,300 feet. Oh my god, we're very high in the profile, so I'm going to have to correct. And selecting flaps full. So 7 miles, well, we're only 100 feet high, so okay, not too bad. The next altitude is 6 miles from Kloten and should be 2,980 feet.
2,000.
2,000 is checked. So 6 miles and 2,980. That looks almost on path. Let's have a look. There we have it. So landing checklist, Ekamimo landing, no Lu. And then 5 miles.
Pull up, terrain. Pull
1,000.
up, don't sink. Too low, terrain. Too low, gear. Too low, flap. Too low, terrain. Glide slope.
Oh my god. Brennelt, thank you so much. 15 euros. And he says, can't hold with Nordic, he has unlimited money. Thank you so much. Yeah, Brennelt, thank you very much for your crazy ideas. I mean, you have been forming this stream so much and you had such great ideas. So thank you, Brennelt. Right, so just a manual flight. And manual thrust. And so, like I said, guys, this is the way raw data works. So you don't need the map at all. Every pilot has to be able to do that, because the systems, the basic ARNA function, the map, could fail at any point.